and we saw John, and there's Joan, and there's one of us. So, but I'm not getting any indication of how many people are watching. So that seems weird. Oh, now I am. Now there's more than 0. All right. I don't know if Maslow's coming, but there's something I saw this morning that seems weird. Someone posted a notification that Mofi sent out. Mobile Fidelity has this. Here he is right now. Okay, watch him just plead the fifth. Someone posted a notification. You promote the thing. Okay. So Mobile Fidelity posted this thing somewhere. Someone reposted it. Their Bitches Brew One Step that's coming out will not be pressed on their high.
Their super vinyl? No super vinyl?
Yes, and they gave like the most ridiculous reason. Here, I'll show it.
What was that? Okay.
Kryptonite.
I think those super vinyls and all the stuff that Chad does as super shit is bullshit, personally.
Okay, so they say on this that they did several tests and listenings, and that Bitches Brew sounds better on regular vinyl than it does on super vinyl. What kind of bullshit is that?
Well,
maybe they've run out.
No. Okay, UHQRs. Chad uses his own. It's a different formula. I don't know what they're called.
It's a higher grade of vinyl.
And my experience with the few UHQRs I have, and compared to what Chad does when he does his regular audiophile pressings, I think the regular ones are better and quieter than that super vinyl. Well, so I think the super vinyl is problematic. I mean, some people may disagree with me, but it's funny that they're coming out and actually saying that they tried it, and wow.
Well, I can tell you this. So I have a stack of records to show, but one I will show. I picked up the other day. This right here, one of the new Strata East reissues, and this is they combine Volume 1 and Volume 2. Originally came out as 2 separate records. This was pressed at RTI, and this sounds quiet. It sounds awesome. So again, I feel that if a record's pressed correctly and stuff, in my experience, I'm no scientist.
You know what that album needs, though? Hold that up again.
Here's
needs a big white sticker right on the front.
Yeah. Hey, Rob.
Just pressed at RTI.
I can't believe Harry's so funny in the morning, because usually it's some stupid dad joke, and that's a good one. That's a good one. What would it take to get the Beatles together again? No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now they get to reissue all those titles on regular vinyl.
I'm feeling more vindicated than ever. Okay, last year, remember Mofi and Chad shrunk the boxes. And now this could be a sign that this super vinyl bullshit, that everything that they charge you extra for on any of the labels. I'm not
just picking on the price come down now.
Charging the same price for Bitches Brew.
Well, it's a one step. I mean, their version of one step, whatever it's called. Now, I'm not going to argue it. I think the one step process also is overrated, but some people will swear by it. I'm curious to hear that. I'd like to, I like Bitches Brew now. That was my first jazz album that I bought, and I returned like a couple of days later because I hated it in 1970. I didn't get it, but then 3 years later, it spoke to me.
I think that what happened is I think there's a certain individual that signed an executive order banning super vinyl.
Yes, because it comes from lacquers in Japan, and we need to make those lacquers in America.
Look, I hate to say
all movies will be made in America now.
I hate to say it, but I think these guys maybe are trying to put out good records.
Okay.
Well, Mofi's definitely okay. I bought about 5 Mofis last year. First of all, their new pressing plant, High Fidelity, or what's it called? Fidelity, is excellent, and they do the Rhino Reserves. so far they're doing really well. I think they're not overworked. They're ramping up. They have good people there. I think that's one of the best pressing plants in the country in terms of the results so far. And I'm fine with MoFi. You know, it's like everything else. Some MoFis are great and some are not. And it's just the nature of them. But yes, they're digital, but they're done well. You know, so I'd like to hear that.
Like everyone who got the Dada puzzle album, the company that Real Gone mainly uses, I forget their name, keeps slipping me. They
Got a groove.
Got a Groove is an excellent pressing plant. Yeah. Most of the stuff I get from them sounds excellent. It's not noisy vinyl. It's great. So it'd be nice to get someone who has nothing to gain or lose to come out and say it's about how the album is pressed. It's not
I think almost any pressing plant has the ability to do excellent pressings. It depends on the vinyl they use and the workmanship and the people that run it and don't rush it.
Though that independent one that Michael Fremer went to and did a tour of, they seem to figure out a way to make
that was Fidelity. He went to Fidelity,
which is the one that David Rawlings is.
He went to that independent place,
but he also went to Fidelity.
He notoriously makes shitty pressings.
Got it.
So I don't know enough about it to, you know, every time someone interviews someone, they're just touting their own stuff. I would like, you know, it's like when you used to watch profiles of like a brewery or a plant, and the guy would go, look, if you do it right, it'll come out good. Yeah. No one says that with like pressing plants.
Fluffy, I tell you, the Miles Davis, except for Kind of Blue, stay away from Kind of Blue MoFi. Chad has a better one. But in terms of the Miles Davis MoFis, they're excellent and they best the originals.
You should get a MoFi. I mean, all those Miles, I have most of them. They sound great.
Have all the MoFis. More, not all of them, but I might look into trying to get a copy of the which is true.
Fluffy.
Oh, Fluffy. Well, you said you, and I'm right. I'm looking at you, so I'm looking at you, Rob.
Hey, everyone, it's Mazzy's world. We just live in it.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, is Angelo Kelly around? Because I have a question to ask Angelo Kelly. Angelo Kelly, let me know if you're around.
Say his name 3 times.
Okay, Harry. What song is the lyric "Natural E" on? What Beatles song?
Northern Songs.
No, wrong.
But it's tuned to a natural E.
No, I think it's okay. Then maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's
you know,
Nowhere Man.
I don't know what the rules are.
Never mind. I'm just waking up.
I fear that your little competition that you're doing tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow, right, Harry?
Yes, tomorrow, 9 a.m.
Yeah, I feel like some Canadian conservative politics might break in as a few questions there.
Oh boy, that's a new channel coming.
Do you guys want to share that link somehow, or I don't know how you would do it?
Well, Baby, You're a Rich Man. We both were wrong.
Why don't you share it?
Baby, You're a Rich Man. You're right.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
Right. Tune to. How does it feel? Tune to a natural E.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good,
see, you and I both got it wrong.
It's too early. Now, I do think, Mazzy, we need to write our answers down and then show them.
Is that what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I should never ask a question unless I already know the answer to the question.
Yeah, that's true.
So I blew that one. And I usually do. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you one question, okay? And then I'll drop it. What's the biggest selling Beatles single?
Hey Jude.
Is it the biggest selling Beatles single by the Beatles?
It's the biggest selling single in the U.S. In the world, the biggest selling single is She Loves You.
Okay, well, he didn't say that to begin with, so the answer was the question was flawed. But I think I'm right on
Fred Hamill says that She Loves You is like higher math. It's
is Hey Jude the biggest selling single though otherwise or no?
In the US, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. I have a prediction.
I think even Mull of Kintyre outsold that in the UK.
In the UK. That's not a Beatles song though, so there we go. So
true.
I have a prediction. My prediction after this thing that happens tomorrow
Will
is
be-
we will see a bigger feud than Harry and Bobby Gas.
Oh, I already admit I'm not good at those kind of things on the spot. It's funny, when I did my Beatle book with David, we were in Sheffield at this Beatle, we were researching it. It was like a Beatle convention in Sheffield, England. We met Victor Spinetti, but Mark Lewison was there before he started writing all these books. And they had a Beatle trivia thing live. And we're not quite sure. David thinks Mark is one. David came in second by one question he blew. David, my writing partner, is so much better in the Beatles trivia than I am. He knows the details, and I know the kind of flowery background stuff. But in terms of details and dates and exact things,
Is
I'm
David
really not that
still
good.
with us?
Yeah. Well, he's not with us right now. He's in Massachusetts.
But he's still alive.
Yeah, he was a high school science teacher for like 30 something years, and he retired a couple years ago. He was in New Jersey. He moved to Massachusetts. They have a place in Massachusetts. I see him like every 2 or 3 years. We text once in a while. We've done some videos together.
Now, Patrick is going to be on my channel tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and Rachel is going to be the host.
And if Harry figures it out, he'll share the link.
Oh, let me see if I can figure that out. You should do something with David.
I have done things with David. I have done
you?
things with David. Yeah, I'll post that picture too today. The promo.
Angelo Kelly, where are you? Question I have for you.
He might be traveling because he said he wasn't going to be able to watch our.
All right, I'll put this out right now. Okay. So, through my dalliances through social media, somehow I discovered that Art Garfunkel has a son.
Yeah,
and weirdly enough,
they put out albums together.
Yeah, weirdly enough, his name is Art Garfunkel Jr.
Oh God!
And he's
a basketball player.
No, you should give him a ride on my Pinto.
And he did not get the hair gene from his father. I think he's in his 30s, kind of bald, but a ginger, has a beard. Somehow, magically, he went to go live in Germany as a teen. And somehow, I assume he's a fairly popular singer in Germany doing German covers of his dad's hits. My question is, and I want this so much to be true, is that he's a rival of Angelo Kelly's. I need that to be, for my 2025 to be the best that it can be.
Maybe it is Angelo.
I need that to be true. I need it to be true that they hate each other's guts.
Oh, man.
Angelo Kelly, please.
It's at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning.
What we should have done is we should have done it today and done it right after this stream.
Yeah, I'm such a good lead in.
Yeah, this would have been a good lead in. Yeah.
Well, you scheduled it. We might need a rematch eventually. If you pay
there
me
might
enough.
be. There might be. We'll have a challenger.
If you pay enough, I'll come back for a rematch.
Unless
just don't bite my ear off.
I mean, here's really the fair thing. What is the next band that you feel like would probably make a better match on
Kraftwerk?
What other band that you two might have somewhat in common of knowledge?
Well, okay, hold on a second. Is Rachel just doing Beatles or is she doing 60s?
Well, I told her Beatles, but I said, but it could go into if she has trouble finding 25 good questions.
How can you have trouble finding 25 questions?
Yeah. But it could be. There might be one or two 1960s thrown in
there. How about Ry Cooder or Little Feet?
Ry Cooder does have little feet, I'm told.
Feet. You ever go to a Little Feet concert? That's the cheer. Feet.
Yeah.
Rix, the reason Rachel looks like a Pan Am hostess is because Rob made that little.
Look, Harry has very limited skills in almost everything. He asked me to make a thumbnail.
Yeah.
And the absurdity, Yeah, well, Rix, why didn't you point out that their heads are much bigger than the puny bodies that they're on? That's more of a thing.
When I use the chat, I use Gemini or I use Chat GPT, but whenever I do, it puts like all the text like in Russian writing. It doesn't put it in English.
Well, so I use something. So here's how I made that. Okay. So the background was made through an AI thing that's in Canva. Then I went to their videos and took pictures of them and removed their heads and put those on the bodies. That's what I did. That's how that was made.
Yeah, but you have to pay for that program. I'm not paying.
No, actually, there's a free version of it. Okay.
Okay.
Is that what you
And
use?
I magically get through the paywall because I'm an
How did you
educator.
get Rachel to fit in that outfit?
Dude,
Well, she has been dieting.
It's the absurdity of the picture, okay?
I'm kidding.
Harry, I don't think Harry's ever wore a suit. Ever.
Yeah, I did. I went for my mother-in-law's funeral. And then I realized when I was done speaking, my zipper was down. I don't think anybody saw I was behind the podium.
Well, maybe half mask is that a tribute.
The funny thing is, Harry realized his zipper was down and he was talking into his zipper.
We're waiting for the funny part.
All right, I'm going to show records I picked up.
We haven't talked about peacocks yet.
Oh,
hey, I had a very weird thing happen the other day.
Okay.
I was
everyone saw the peacock on the stream. You opened your door and it was standing there.
Yeah, but even weirder was, so I had a bunch of papers on a hand truck. I open my door, I take the papers in the hand truck out to my car. I take the papers, put them in my car. I come back with the empty hand truck, and the fucking peacock is walking out of my office. Like, I'm 3 feet away from my door, and there's a peacock like, what the fuck are you doing here? And they're like this, you know. He's just like grooving.
We were driving.
And, he did not crap. That's the main thing. Did not crap in the office.
This is not the peacock, but we were driving in Jim's neighborhood, and I took a picture of that one.
And my peacock's still a little boy. Doesn't quite have that big of a feather unit.
Now, are there animals, critters that go after them at all? How do they protect themselves?
They're pretty big. Supposedly, if a coyote, we have a lot of coyotes around here. Right. A coyote goes after a peacock, like 3 or 4 of them will come and they'll drive off the coyotes.
They just basically say, "We're so beautiful, get the fuck out of here."
No, they're bad. They're strong.
But they have their own sound. It's bum bum bum.
No, I wish. They sound like a baby screaming.
Yeah, you remember?
A woman being attacked. That's what a peacock sounds like.
Here's a kind of a trivia, not a question, but a piece of trivia. Do you remember when Hard Day's Night was first shown on NBC a few years later, like on prime time? You know how they always had the peacock in color? It came out and it was in glorious black and white. They had the peacock in black. It was kind of a.
I still say they need to do a colorized version of a Hard Day's Night.
Oh, bullshit. Oh, no.
Why not?
No. God.
Yeah, I mean, you still have the original.
No.
Yeah, do it. And then
let's get Born to Run and add
Mazzy to the
Sabrina
curb.
Carpenter to it. We have the original.
I thought Ted Turner was going to do all those classic movies.
Hold on. I don't think anyone's, first of all, Harry, I don't think anyone's clamoring for anything to be colorized.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Rix, the reason I remember that it's so vivid because the NBC Peacock was a big thing. Remember in the 60s, it was huge. Yeah, and so when you see a black and white one, you remember that. Plus, it's Hard Day's Night, so that just etched in my memory. I mean,
you got a troll. You got a troll here, Rob. TARDIS writer. You need to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I think he's getting the bad dope. You know, there's bad dope in Knoxville, Tennessee.
He got some bad weed, or he got dosed.
First of all, read the room, Mazzy. I don't think a lot of people were even around or knew.
Oh, your audience skews old, believe me.
Not as old as you.
Not CBS.
99.9% males over the age of 50.
All right, I'm showing records. Please be silent. So I picked this up. I didn't even know this record exists.
Did he do all the signs?
Nobody speak at all while he's showing records.
All right.
So everyone knows, like in Blue. Shut up, guys. Everyone knows that Blue Note had the LT series. Those were shelved records that were issued in the late 70s, early 80s. There also were a bunch that were just released in Japan around the same time. This was one. It's a record of recordings over the period of 3 years, I think 1960 to 63. It's very good. And I think some songs were added to CD versions of other albums throughout the years, but this has never been issued in any other way other than in Japan. I think maybe a couple times, and it's really good. So there you go. I picked here. This is an interesting story, and Harry might find some interest in it. So this is an Art Pepper record, and it called The Art of Pepper. And the original release of this record was strictly on reel tape by this company, Omega Tape. So the record was recorded just to be released on reel, and it failed miserably because the geniuses of this company didn't understand that most people didn't own players.
But if anybody did, it would be jazz people. Seriously.
Yeah.
So
because they cared about audio file sound.
Right. So in the mid 50s when this was made, then I believe the story's here on this. So this record since 1970 has been issued by even Blue Note. I think on Blue Note it's called Omega Man. Onyx, who releases jazz labels, released it as Omega. So you can get this in several different ways. But this is the original cover of the reel tape. This was issued in 1985 by VSOP. And
what year did the tape come out?
Mid 55 or something like that.
Yeah, that was a little early.
But even after the record, it was shopped around for other labels to reissue it, and they had no interest. It wasn't until 1970 that it came out on vinyl.
Is Jazz Bum Mike? Is that true that he pronounced his name Peeper? I never heard that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I think he's trying to be funny.
But Mike is not the funny one.
If you want, seriously, if you want no humor at all, go to Mike's Substack.
So is it Sergeant Peeper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
So, by the way, Mike, I read your first.
Hey, can you shut? Type it in the. Type it in.
This is how a conversation goes.
I'm showing records. So that's the logo. International Pacific Omega Tape Recording Corporation.
Pronounced it Peeper.
So that's interesting. That's a good factoid, right?
Oh man, you guys.
Sure.
That's his attempt.
Yeah, attempt.
Okay.
Keep
this
trying, Mike.
This is a Jazz Bum Mike record. Who's that? Who's this?
Isn't that
Jazz Bum Mike?
No, that's
Jazz Bum Mike smoking a joint.
The guy that got his teeth punched out.
That's not Chet Baker.
Oh, that's what it looks like. Chet Baker.
No, it's Stan Getz. It's Stan Getz. And this is an OG. Nice. This is an OG mono on the Norman Grant's label, Micro Groove.
It looks like it's a subsidiary of Verve with that color.
No, it became Verve after this.
Oh, okay.
This is a good one. This is a Red Garland satin doll. This was like found songs or alternative takes. You know, I hope you freeze up during your quiz show tomorrow. Like you can't get any answers out of your mouth. I hope you freeze.
I like Satin Doll.
But
I think it's a great song.
This was put out in the 80s, early 80s, of songs that were not released. A couple alternative takes. Man, I'm ready to give up on showing the records. You guys don't appreciate it.
Promise.
I'm not showing anymore. Yeah, but if you were going to show the shitty ass records, you know.
Good. Harry, you show yours. You're a much better record shower.
I don't have anything. Well, I do.
I'm going to give a prop. I'm going to tell also.
No, look, I went to Goodwill. And I got this, which I thought I was surprised at how good this is.
Oh, that's a good record.
I'm not a big Zappa fan, but this I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And then this is all like classic surf stuff that Challenge put out. I don't buy a lot of CDs, but when you see them, you know, cheap at Goodwill, you pick them up.
You do?
Sure, why not?
I mean, most are cheap.
No. Yeah.
That's a real record store, by the way, but they made the.
That's actually a pretty good record.
Yeah, it is. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And then on vinyl,
despite the wankerness, he's made a lot of great records. He puts out almost as many records as Neil Young.
This is an amazingly good sounding record. This was it's from the original master tapes. There's stereo and mono cuts, all like their best stuff on Ace Records.
That's a British, yeah.
I picked this up at Daybreak for $15.
You've gone all in on the wanker, one of the wankers of the year.
This is FM radio broadcasts.
What year is that?
Geez, I don't know. 74 maybe. I can't.
What are the
remember.
songs? What are the songs like?
This was a white label promo at Goodwill, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I got this one at Goodwill. I never find shit at Goodwill, but this is a flip back UK.
Hey really there, nice. Georgie girl.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Picked this up at Daybreak.
What is that? Hendrix?
Jimi Hendrix Incident at Rainbow Bridge on yellow vinyl.
That's a boot. Yeah, boot.
This was a blind buy, but I'm a big fan of Loggins and Messina.
He was a great. Do you have a surf guitar album?
This is it. This is all his surf music.
Oh, because this
was
Sunday.
Really good.
It might have been
and
Sundays.
Every one of these songs was written by him and Fry.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. I think it's Sundays. It might not, but.
And then I got this at Daybreak.
I love that. The Envoy. Nice.
Yeah, the Envoy, good song.
Yeah,
I got this at Daybreak. This is from Taiwan. It's near mint.
Who is that? Oh, that's the Wings. Okay.
Yeah, Wings. You're not going to do well tomorrow, man. And then I got this is a reissue
Taiwanese.
Of,
See, it's no fair. I don't speak Taiwanese.
And then this is a German. It has the first two Alice Cooper albums. What is it? Pretty's for You and Easy Action.
Huh. What? Huh.
And that was like $20. And then this is the first pressing US, but it's almost mint, but there's no poster.
I think people are crazy when they say that record sounds shitty. The American,
that's what I picked up this last week.
First American and the first UK. The Phil Spector on that sounds really good, really dynamic. It does have that wall of sound, but I think it's far better than the remix that they did.
Then there was a few more. $2. I'm a Rick Nelson fan. I can't help it. I like the guy.
Yeah, me too.
He does not like to go by Ricky Nelson. He never did. He always wanted to be called Rick.
The one from Cheap Trick's better.
Rick
and
Nelson
then this
records.
was nice.
Rick Nelson records are great.
This was $3. It's a Taiwan bootleg of Live at Leeds.
That's why it's $3.
Yeah, those things.
Still, this is a $60 or $70 record if I list it on eBay, just because of the cover.
Hey,
and then this was record still in shrink wrap with a hype sticker.
Yeah, but that's like a less than $5 record anyway.
Well, I paid $5 for it.
Hey, by the way,
is that Paul Rogers? Or yeah.
Hey, by the way, I talked about this on the Jazz Bombs. I was this record right here, John Coltrane. This is a live version of A Love Supreme. It's a double LP. It quietly came out last October in Europe. It's available here in the US, but Charlie, who owns all the BYG catalog, they're a good UK company. So, somehow they got the tapes of this and they remastered them for this. I do believe it was available. It was brought to my attention there was a CD of A Love Supreme that this might be on. I don't know if it's the whole thing. They actually added a couple of other songs for the fourth side. But this sounds excellent.
Charlie just put out that Small Faces box.
They did, but they're reissues that they're doing of the BYG, which are avant-garde free jazz. There's also rock, like the group Gong. Those they're doing them in tone poet style with really nice covers and analog remastering. But this one is not done that way. But this really does sound good. And in fact, if you compare this to that Love Supreme in Seattle, there's no comparison. That Love Supreme in Seattle just doesn't sound great. It's archival. This actually sounds very good. So I highly recommend this. I got it off of Amazon. I think by me mentioning it, a lot of copies got sold. There might be a few left. If you buy this from the UK, I'm not getting any money for this. If you buy this from like the UK and from Charlie's website, there's like $20 shipping. The list is like $40, but this was like $23 on Amazon. I don't know if it's still there, but this is very good, and it has a poster inside of it too. That's kind of cool looking.
So Harry, I just played this morning.
How about letting me finish showing this?
No.
This goes back to Harry's garden party. I mean,
no one cares about Ricky Nelson.
I saw Rick Nelson.
Bullshit.
I'm getting rid of it. I don't.
We're gonna do a Ricky Nelson.
That's a great record, Jim.
It's got one song.
Hey, Rob, make me big again, please. Make me big. I got one more thing at Goodwill. They had a bag of 8-track tapes. They had 3 of these bags. I only bought one.
I thought you were going to show curlers.
It was $10 for the bag, and look at what was in it.
Zeppelin.
Nice.
You know, Harry, you're that guy that shows up that says, "Oh, Harry's in the store. Let's get all the shit that we can't sell and stick it in a bag, and Harry will buy it."
Tell me you wouldn't pay $10 for that bag of.
Well, I wouldn't, but
do you have an 8-track player?
Would. It's got.
No, I don't.
I just don't have room for all that shit.
If you're old, you watch CBS Sunday Morning. It's like a law in the US.
I don't anymore.
They did a profile. They did a profile how the cassette is making a comeback, whatever. But what is the sound? What is generally regarded as the sound quality of an 8-track?
Not good.
I mean, it was okay. They weren't like horrible. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah.
What was better, 8-track or 4-track?
No, obviously cassette. What's the sound quality of a cassette?
No slip covers.
It depends.
Probably not as good as
some cassettes were excellent.
Now, the funny thing is, my dad had an 8-track player in the car, and you would push a button, it would go to the middle of another song.
Click.
What was the deal with that?
Click.
Well, sometimes it would fade out in the middle of a song, and fade back in. And
they wouldn't be in the same song order as the album a lot of times.
Not always. They'd have to rework the order.
Constraints.
Because there are literally four segments that you click through. I had one.
My 8-track player was such a piece of shit.
I had a removable 8-track player that I used in my mom's car for a while. Before I had
my 8-track player was kind of wired into the glove.
We had to have that slide anti-theft because people were ripping them off. You know,
mine was just sitting on the floor, wired up underneath the dash.
Yeah, mine was like that. They came in, they stole my 8-tracks, but they left the 8-track player, which all you had to do was, it was just wires. They were just twisted, and it made me feel like, oh shit, I need to.
No one ever stole an 8-track player. No, it never ever happened in this.
I don't know why they stole my 8-tracks, but not.
Oh, they would always steal those things. I mean, that was the big, 8-tracks were kind of more popular initially in cars than cassettes.
I wonder what it sounds like. Find a player somewhere.
Is there an RL?
Ramblon is continued on track 4.
Is there an RL in that dead wax, Harry?
I could
Who's
make
got
one.
the Nakamichi Dragon?
They should
DC.
have cut Moby Dick in half, is what they should have done.
You know what happened is all the guys with the muscle cars and the American cars had 8 tracks, and all the like people with Volkswagens and the European or Japanese Toyotas and stuff got cassette players initially.
Oh, hold on. This is big news. Hold that back up, Harry. Fuck the teal Led Zeppelin.
That's right. That's right.
That's the pink. That's the true Led Zeppelin 1.
Pretty in pink.
Look at this.
Fuck the teal.
I Can't Quit You, Part 1, Part 2. You Shook Me, Part 1. Click, Part 2.
Nice. We didn't care.
This one, look at this. This is how bad 8 tracks were in the beginning. This is the back of the Bad Company, and this is the front. They don't even put a picture of the band on it.
Well, they came in slipcases.
Yeah, probably.
They did. They all came in cardboard slipcases.
Hmm.
You know, I don't remember anyone at the time ever bitching about the nudity on that cover.
How
you?
much?
No,
how much
it was never an
tracks?
issue.
How
Same
much
with
were all
Blind
those?
Faith.
Harry, how much were all those?
$10.
Like
Now,
with Blind
Vance,
Faith.
here's a question. This is physical graffiti. This is the only artwork there is.
Well, there was.
Well, it had slip
slipcase.
covers. The slip
Yeah.
covers probably had the picture.
Yeah, they did. They had
Yeah,
it.
it's too bad they don't have the cover for them.
Now, did they make a big deal about the color of the 8-track
I love
box
that record.
No.
back in the day?
Dark purple meant it was a quad pressing.
They did?
So anytime you see an 8-track with a dark purple case, you should pick it up. This has got the original finger.
You need to get an
Center
8-track to hook up to your
logo.
deck now, Harry.
Here's one Mazzy will like.
Yeah.
There you
Angelo
go.
Kelly, where are you?
I told you, I think he's flying well, he's not. Tomorrow he's flying. This is such a good album. That's my favorite Deep Purple album. I don't know how this got put in there with all the others. Because the other 2 bags they had were like, one was like Carpenters and Anne Murray. And
Well, those
shit
are worth
like that.
more. Those are worth
Yeah.
more.
This is another really good album. I like the song Anyone's Daughter. Anyways, that was a good deal for $10. 1, 2, 3,
Well-
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
well-
9, 10, 11, 13 of them. Baker's dozen.
How
Nice.
is it a good deal if you don't have an 8-track player?
Oh, I'm probably going to flip them.
How much?
I don't know what they go for. Vance, what do 8-tracks go for? Led Zeppelin.
You could look it up.
If only those away.
Let me look. I'm going to type right now, okay? Led Zeppelin 8-track. All right. Wow, Harry.
Look at Dana.
20 bucks, 10 bucks, 25 bucks, 10
Yeah.
bucks, 10 bucks, 10
But
bucks.
how comfortable do you feel flipping them if you don't know if they've been demagnetized and have nothing on them?
Well, no one does. That's it. Okay, someone's got
Here.
someone's selling 4 for 20 bucks.
They've got, the pads, all the pads are in good
Oh,
shape.
here we go. 8-track, 22 tapes with cases, Led Zeppelin, 22 of them for $150.
Wow.
But they're
Maybe I'll
asking.
go back and get those other 2 bags of the other ones they've got.
Here's one. A lot of 52 8-tracks for 10 bucks. Beatles, ZZ Top, Eagles, Led Zeppelin.
Hey,
Untested
I
as
would
is.
I would so love to hear Harry's wife go, "Look, I let you have the albums. I let you have had the CD.
Reels.
The 8-tracks is where I draw the line."
Well, I think what I'm going to look for now is an 8-track recorder.
Here's a good one.
/
Pink
player.
Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Allman Brothers, all sealed for $230.
I went to a garage sale 15 years ago or so. I am not exaggerating. Okay, there was a room, like a small bedroom, literally filled with 8-track tapes at this garage sale. They wanted, like $5-10 a piece for them. I didn't buy any. I went back Sunday, the last day, and they still had all those 8-tracks. And I said, "What are you going to do with them if you don't sell them?" She says, "We don't know." I said, "I'll give you $20 for all of them." They said sold. A lot of them were sealed, and a lot of them were classical quad reel-to-reels. 8-tracks. I sold those. I got a shitload of money for those things. I had Michael Nesmith and the First National Band sealed, and they went for good money. It was crazy. I got 20. I had to fill the car. I could not get more in the car than I stuffed them in there.
What's good money?
What's what?
Good money. You're saying good money. What?
I think I got like $75 for the sealed Michael Nesmith.
When was this? In 1979? You bought
probably
these?
15 years ago, 18 years ago, maybe.
I only have one 8-track, and it's a sealed 4-cut promo from Capitol of the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. It's got 4 tracks as a promo sampling Hollywood Bowl.
That's cool.
Hey, Mike,
you don't want any of this shit, man.
Hold on.
You don't want to. You don't want to try this shit, really.
Hold on.
Don't.
Michael.
I think I do.
Gary's recreating that scene right now because he's not wearing any pants.
Look up on the Apple 8-tracks, sealed Apple 8-tracks. They go for.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, Beatles stuff has a different, like Zeppelin stuff too. Actually, yeah. Okay, what's
Ivan? I get up now because the sun comes up early.
Tom Rashawn is asking about a new Led Zeppelin album. Is that real? What is that about? Is there a reissue or something coming out? I don't know anything about that.
Hold on, but Tom Rashawn's very gullible.
Yeah.
You stop teasing Tom Rashawn.
Zepp Pearl would know if anyone knows. Is Led Zeppelin putting something out like unreleased?
Hold on. Let me explain something to you. When the Pope died, did you find out that the Pope died? Yes. If Led Zeppelin's putting out, hold on. If Led Zeppelin's putting out a new album, it's going to be everywhere.
Of course, but maybe it hasn't been announced yet. There's no Led Zeppelin album, for fuck's sake. Okay. Not a new album, but, oh, you didn't say new.
Hold on. Somehow he's communicating with spaceships. What's going on there?
God, you guys, man.
It's called Russian propaganda, Tom. Yes, Roger. I understand that. Hold on. I have a good joke, Harry. I don't need you to interrupt me right now. Hey, Roger, I hear they picked a new pope and he's Jewish. Didn't they picked a new pope? When did they announce it?
I just watched the movie Two Popes the other night. It was pretty good. It was much better than Conclave, I thought.
Didn't they pick a new pope? How long does it take for them to announce the new pope?
The smoke hasn't gone up yet. The black
I thought
smoke.
it did.
We're waiting for the orange smoke.
Oh, the orange smoke? I thought it's the black smoke. No.
Well, it's the orange smoke when Trump.
No, it's the sativa.
Yeah,
we're waiting for not the. Yeah, it doesn't even
start
yet.
till tomorrow, so the conclave hasn't started yet. Okay, so
I thought the end of Conclave was ridiculous. The film.
Because
who would guess in a million years that Big Ian is a pope head?
In the Vatican. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Where have you been, DMB? You've been around in a long time.
Yeah, really. He's calm.
Listen, it's humorous. It's humorous yelling.
Okay, trivia question for the peanut gallery. Which song quotes the lyrics, "The Pope owns 51% of General Motors. The stock exchange is the only thing he's qualified to quote us"?
Can I answer that or no?
You got to witness for the peanut gallery.
All I already know it. So, can I say what letter it starts with?
Yeah.
A.
Nobody knows. Go ahead, Mazzy.
Awaiting on you all from All Things Must Pass. George
No one
Harrison.
seems to care. I think you're going to have record high viewing tomorrow.
I think answer all the questions today.
I think the fact that it's a Beatles thing makes it super timely with, the kids.
Well, the kids aren't watching our channels, okay?
That's for sure. Matter.
Well, I'll say that one class I teach is about digital media distribution. I use my experience on YouTube, and I talk about the demographics on my channel I attract. It's like no one under like a certain age, and definitely no females, except maybe there's one or two here this morning.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to watch that Led Zeppelin movie. I'm waiting for it to be on a free streaming service.
I'm watching a PBS thing, I think on YouTube, A History of Funk Music and Black Liberation of this 1970s documentary, hour and a half. Freaking fantastic. Starts with James Brown. I'm up to Parliament Funkadelic.
Well, hold on. Not Big Ian. Zepp saying if there was a chance, it would be some type of soundtrack, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, like who's the oldest right now? Is Jimmy Page. He's well into his 80s, right?
We want
really?
the funk.
Isn't he?
We want the funk.
He's probably like 80, 81, I guess.
Like Tom Selleck is 80 now.
But he was younger than the Beatles.
Did you see David Hasselhoff's former
He's
wife?
81. He's 81. He's 81. So he was younger than he's 81. He was younger than the Beatles by like 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years.
Oh, Ringo's what, 82 now?
No, Ringo's 85 this
Did
year.
anyone he was on
1940.
Ringo was on a talk show the other night, and there's the information we do not know about these guys is so limited that he had to say, you know what? I've never had a slice of pizza. I've never had pizza. It's
because
like that's
of his stomach issues.
But that's what we're down to.
Yeah. Well, he took cans of baked beans to India with him because he couldn't eat the Indian food.
So he's a particular eater anyway?
Yeah, he has to. He has stomach issues.
Oh, God. I used to know that answer to that Al Stewart question. I used to know that Al Stewart question, that woman. I forgot, though.
I'd have to see the album cover, and I don't know.
God, I forgot. You can answer it, Herc.
Yeah. Do you try your jokes out on someone else before you type them, Herc?
What's a super vegan? You're either vegan or you're not.
Well,
Ivan's comment.
What?
He's been going to these movie theaters and being a DJ before the film show.
That's cool.
That could be fun.
No, hold on. Yvonne, do you have permission from the theater?
David
Gilmour's wife.
Okay. His current wife, Simpson, whatever, Simpson.
Sampson.
Hey,
David Gilmour. I think
I was streaming the Pink Floyd in Pompeii. I thought it sounded good.
I'm not going to buy that.
It does sound good.
It's too new.
It's not. It's actually good. It's not a live album, so I don't. And nowhere does it say live. It says Pink Floyd at Pompeii.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, Mazzy.
Okay.
That it's a really good recording. How did they eliminate any outdoor background noise there?
Well,
Steve Wilson just did this.
They had the 4 instruments going in the boards directly, okay?
Right. What about the
and the
mic?
mics, and also they did overdubs afterwards, vocal and audio. I mean, it's basically like a studio album, like a band playing together. They just happen to be
I
outside
mean,
with no audience.
what in the movie do they go over that that location that they were in was optimum for good sound?
No.
No,
It was
they
more
were
the
just
aesthetic
spoiled
of the
brats.
place. It was the
They were just
aesthetic of the
able to
place.
do it because they wanted to.
Yeah,
Right,
but
but I mean,
when you think about it, it's enclosed, not enclosed, but it's surrounded. It's not a giant stadium kind of space.
Where
So
were the Beatles going to go? Where the Beatles were talking about
they were talking about
places.
Everest, and they were talking
Yeah.
about.
But we're going to go on Mount Everest and play.
Yeah, they were going to.
No, they were going
go
to, because they were going to call the Abbey Road album Everest.
Right.
So, but my point is that these guys had more money than sense. You know, you could do anything.
Yeah, it's a natural amphitheater where you had performances where sound carried, and it's got a really dry, dead sound, which is great. It's not, and they didn't add reverb, all this stuff. It's really nicely well done.
Good question, Dan.
Dan, because when you're making a film, not just an audio work, you're making a film as well as a recording, but the director is about the film. You want a set. You want it to be somewhere. You want the band to be in an environment.
Yeah, but I think they use a green screen, kind of like they did for the moon landing.
Yeah, in these days, But
no, to me, this is pure.
The environment is what made it too at the time. Have you ever seen the Grateful Dead at the pyramids? You know,
hold on.
Not in person.
I do have a question. When they were recording, how did they get the sound of the ghosts of the people being covered with lava out?
Exactly. To me, this is all like Spinal Tap shit. You know, let's go to the pyramid. No, let's go to the pyramids.
I mean,
Thank you,
at that period of time, when they did this at that period of time, how big was Pink Floyd?
They were getting huge.
They were big like the Grateful.
Can one person answer my question at a time, please?
They were big like the Grateful Dead was big. They weren't top 10 hits, but they were a big band, but they weren't anywhere big as they would be 2 years later when Dark Side came out. Nowhere near that.
So how did they have the power to say, "Hey, we're doing this"?
They didn't,
because they made enough money to do it.
No, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
This concept was the director. They were just touring all the time. They were playing, medium-sized venues. They weren't playing outdoor stadiums. In San Francisco, the next year they play Winterland, holds 5,000 people. That's one of the bigger places.
Vance.
So they, the director happened to be, he was touring that venue one day, way before this. He left his wallet or he left something, and he went back and he walked around looking, and he had this idea. So he pitched the idea to Pink Floyd. They didn't want anything to do with it, really. They didn't want to spend any money or any time. It was in between, and all they had was 4 days to film it. They did it 4 days, and then they went on and did other stuff. And then about a month or two later in Paris, they went to a studio and shot more. And then they went off, and then they, things like that. So, hold on a second. So it wasn't Pink Floyd initiated project.
All right, I'm going to show the rest of my records because Paul's here. Paul, I'm going to show my records. I would like you to comment on them because you were the only one who would appreciate the rest of the records. These numbnutses will not. Paul, I found this copy of the Human Arts Ensemble. Basically, they're the St. Louis version of like the Art Ensemble of Chicago. But this record is a Muse reissue from the Arts Ensemble. Had their own little label. They put out like 2 or 3 records. This is a reissue of a record. If you can get the original run, that's like a $200 record. But this one's not as much. But it's not the same cover, but the back is the same. So can you make a comment on this record, please? I appreciate it. Then I found another one of their records that was put out on Black Saint. There's Charles Bobo Shaw. There's Jim Joseph Bowie on here. Those are the two main members of this. Here's a good one. This Charlie Hayden Liberation Music Orchestra on Impulse. I'm not putting it in your pile, but this will probably be in the next auction because I have this already. And then this Archie Shepp Philly Joe Jones record that originally came out on the America label in France, but this was put out by Fantasy, issued it in the U.S.
Now, is there any truth to the rumor that there's going to be a auction and a whatnot at the same time?
I have a whatnot. I have a whatnot this Saturday at 1 p.m.
Let me come up, Mazzy, with 5 records. See if I can get $1 million for each record.
What?
Huh?
I don't have any $1 million records.
People are getting on whatnots.
You know,
and more power to them. People
will pay whatever they feel comfortable paying. Sometimes they overbid, sometimes they underbid, like on your auctions, on our YouTube auctions. Sometimes they way underbid and they get extras. Sometimes they don't.
All right. So, how many of the records did you lose money on that whatnot, Mazzy?
Well, I've had these are my collection. I didn't lose anything because I've had them for. I'm selling doubles, triples, things I don't really need anymore of my own. And I'll do a preview later, probably by Thursday. I do
a Fluffy, he had a few records on Black Saint. The one I picked up the other day is pretty kind of almost straightforward jazz. It's not weirdo music.
Okay. Okay. What is this? Okay, hold on a second. Someone just sent me a text.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of this site. Just Buzz. That sounds weird.
Yeah, I think you're being spammed, Mazzy.
Maybe I am, but
who sent it to you?
Give them your info.
Led Zeppelin announced new album to be released by the end of 2025. Surprise announcements caused a stir in the music world. The announcement came via statement shared on the band's official website. This sounds bullshit.
Okay, so let me help you out, Tom. Don't Facebook. Look, Facebook knows what you like and stuff, right? I get fake articles about my college basketball team. Like, who gives a shit about that? And they're fake articles to take you to a site and track you and steal your information.
Speaking of basketball,
Tom, stop going to these sites.
2 great games yesterday in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, they were good.
Wow. The finish on that.
But it's sports shit.
Denver.
How about the Winnipeg hockey game Sunday?
No
Winnipeg,
one
anyone?
paid attention to that.
2 double overtime.
Yeah, I'm starting all my record. Okay, if it's not a valuable record, I start at around $10, $5 to $10. A regular catalog record. If it's something rarer, I'll start higher.
Save all this nonsense for Thursday. That way, Hey, if you're like Chance and you want to pick up some Taylor Swift or what's that other young girl, go to this.
Sabrina Carpenter,
and what's the other one?
I think the only one that's worth it that I really like, seriously, a lot, is Lana Del Rey. I think her records are great.
If you want to pick up your Lana Del Reys and your Sabrina Carpenters,
well, you've heard
go with Chance to this Barnes and Noble sale.
You heard the other day on the new releases by Mike at the In Groove. He talked about records like Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd, and 30 said Lana Del Rey. Her records or certain record he can't keep in stock. They sell over and over again.
All right, I'm looking at the records they have that are jazz. Blah. Peggy Lee.
Yeah, but you never know what's going to be in the store.
Okay, here, I'm going to show you right now. This is going to send your mind into orbit. I'm going to share the screen. Chance shares this sale. Hold on. Chance shares this sale. I'm going to show you this stupid-ass sale. I clicked on jazz just to see what they have as part of the sale. Add to the stage. I have to make it bigger because no one can read the small. Oh, that's smaller.
Barnes and Noble are always worth going in if you happen to be walking by one.
Okay, if you want the jazz, you could get this Joni Mitchell or the Peggy Lee. But here's my favorite. Can someone go pick me up this soundtrack to Yentl? It's one of the best jazz records ever recorded.
It's an exclusive too.
Yeah, it's on Jewish Gold.
Papa.
It's Jewish Gold vinyl. And
Nice.
then it's Judy and Liza. I think that was the top jazz album of 1967.
Papa.
Yeah. Papa.
Rob, you heard the joke about the Jewish pedophile?
All right. It didn't. By the way, it didn't
had
open
a
the
van with a
floodgates for
sign
your
that said
Jewish
candy,
joke.
$1.
Say that again. Oh.
This is a good record. This is a nice
Yeah, we don't
record.
joke about those things, Harry. Sorry.
Here's a decent record, Lana Del Rey. Very good.
Her records are very good. I think out of all, I hate to put her in that category because I think her records last beyond the pop record of that year. Like, for instance,
Whose records?
how many people listen to their, I mean, she's a great singer and everything, but what's the big singer had the album 21 and 28 or 27?
Adele.
Oh, Adele, that shit's good. No,
It's good,
good.
but how many people actually listen to those records anymore?
I do.
I
Oh,
purged
okay.
all of them.
Right.
You got rid of them?
Yeah. I
I got rid of mine
purged
too.
them.
I had one of them.
I have like the first one.
Hey, I'm gonna let you in
Voice
on
is
a
great.
little. I'm gonna let you in on a little known fact.
I'm a big fan of Lana Del Rey,
When Harry found that bag full of 8-tracks, he bought them, ran outside, held them up in the sky, and started screaming that Adele song. I could have had them all.
Amy Winehouse, I listen to her shit all the time.
Amy's
Amy's,
doesn't get old.
she's a real deal. I have 4 of Lana's records. She has a
good
record
for you,
coming out in the next
Chauncey.
month or two.
If that is your name.
I like Lana Del Rey.
Well, yeah, she's dead.
Who?
Amy Winehouse.
She's still dead. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was she 27?
Why?
Yeah, she was
on.
a 27 club.
I have a question for all of you. How come in the 70s it was very fashionable to say they're not really dead, they're living a quiet life, blah blah? How come we don't talk about it with our dead stars today?
Honestly, it wasn't that fashionable. It was still a bunch of weirdos saying it then.
Okay, let's see.
Oh yeah, Billie Eilish. I like Billie Eilish.
All right, I'm going back.
I've never
Hold
heard
on.
a Billie Eilish song.
I'm going back to the
It's
sale.
Good, man.
I'm going back to the sale.
What do they have that's autographed, Rob? Because they
Where?
do at Barnes and Noble. They always get autograph specials.
All right, let's waste some time on this stupid sale that Chance sent us to offer.
Thanks a lot.
This record is worth it. This
I
record.
can't get past the cover. It's just too creepy.
Which
It's
one?
kind of creepy, but
Which
it's
one?
Billie
really
Eilish.
worth it. It's really worth it.
It's a good record. It is a good record.
All right, we're going back. We're going back.
You know, she's kind of a nut job. She's got Tourette's.
Hey,
So she's
listen,
weird.
listen. We're here to help people out because Mother's Day is coming up, and a lot
Oh,
of
you can get Dolly Parton's Rock Star for $20.
Oh, okay. This isn't that bad. This Grateful Dead
No.
Reckoning for $20. Little
you're
Earthquakes, the Tori Amos.
Blue
No,
Label. Who?
I could
Grateful
sell
Dead.
my Vinyl Me Please Grateful Dead box for a bunch now, probably.
From the Mars Hotel, $20. Not bad.
Yeah, Wake of the Flood.
That's
Okay.
cheap for that shit. Wake of the Flood.
Colored vinyl. I wonder if they're those. Are those the Bellman cuts? I bet they're
I used
the
to see
Bellman.
Reckoning originals of it for big bucks.
Yeah.
This'll
Until it
kill
was
the
reissued. That was
Hey,
the
you
only
can
place.
get them. There's that Madonna album you've been looking for.
The
Aaron.
question is, why are they doing this? Are they getting out of vinyl completely?
No, they
That's Sarah
buy a lot
McLachlan's
and then
album.
they
It's
sell for a while.
inventory. It's deducting inventory, Harry. Come on.
Yeah.
Costs a lot of money to warehouse this shit.
Yeah.
They'd rather
Might have
move
to
it
go
than
look
return
at
it.
Oh, that's not bad. If that's a real one, burning the John Lee Hooker.
Look,
For,
is that a DOL or a wax time?
They don't carry wax times.
I don't think it is. I don't know.
They don't carry DOL or wax times.
This is a blah blah blah. Let's look up this. Search. I don't know if that's coming up, but
put it in Discogs.
I searched. That might be a funny version. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll show up on Discogs though.
Okay, burning. John Lee Hooker. Let's
Burning
see.
hookers? What?
Okay. This appears to be a legit version. It's a legit version, the John Lee Hooker.
Yeah, they don't carry fakes at Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Amoeba will carry Dole and wax time, but
Yeah.
not Barnes and Noble.
Okay. I might go through this, Chance. You redeemed yourself. But hey, someone get me this Yentl on gold vinyl.
Here's something that's kind of cool. Now, I took this picture the day after Jimi Hendrix died, and I was in a car going through Daly City next to San Francisco, and they had the date wrong, his birth date wrong, or the year wrong. But this is real. This isn't made up, and I took this picture. They were playing Woodstock.
Cool.
They were playing like a redeal of Woodstock, you know. Isn't that kind of cool?
It is. Mm-hmm. At regular prices. So what was it, like 50 cents to see the film?
Probably. This was like, well, this is after the movie came. This is like the next year. He died in 71 or 70.
70.
70. So this was months after the movie opened. I don't remember what month he died. Anybody know when Jimi Hendrix died? We could look it up. I know.
August? Was it August?
Well, the movie came out. I'm
August.
thinking the movie came out in May of 70, probably, Woodstock.
Mazzy, if you want, I'll take you to his gravesite someday.
You know how many people I've taken? I've been there like 6-7 times now.
Everybody that visits.
But I love going to Jimmy. It's kind of a cool place to go, and it's like, what, 20 minutes from here. Yeah, I'm going to use my my vinyl community influenced. People want to come to Seattle. $250 you get me for the day, and I'll drive you to the cemetery of Jimi Hendrix and of Bruce Lee and Jason.
Now, I have not been to Bruce Lee. I don't even know where it's located.
Oh, it's actually right. It's in Seattle. It's kind of what is it? East of Capitol Hill or north of Capitol Hill? Beautiful cemetery and a beautiful view of is it Lake Washington or one of the water bodies. But we went with Rob and Rachel. It was great, and Sue.
Now this Saturday is the what used to be called the Lake City Record Show. So that's coming up. That's this Saturday. And then West Seattle's having their big block party garage sale thing near Easy Street, where they shut down the street and they have a bunch of. So that both of them.
Actually, I've been to that West Seattle thing before. That's cool.
Well, right. I'm doing my
Shoreline. They should call it the Shoreline Show.
Yep. Yeah. It's free.
Hey, you could do us all a favor, Jim. What is not in that issue of Record Collector News?
Joey broke the news that Seven Horse, one of their songs, is going to be used in an upcoming Amazon series.
Very nice. Good for them.
I got my copy of Record Collector News yesterday.
Did you? Be careful; it's the ink gets all over your hands.
I haven't opened. I haven't.
If I get a paper cut, if I get a paper cut, I'm coming after you.
You could sue.
If I get paper cut and get ink, loose, wet ink in it.
It is a.
It's soy-based ink. Everyone, calm down.
It's sterile. Unfortunately,
it's Soylent Green.
Good morning, Elliot Cruz.
Newsprint is sterile. You can staunch a wound.
Good morning.
Morning, Elliot.
What's good about it?
How's the future?
I didn't say good. I just said morning.
In the Southeast.
I was naming it. Yeah,
How's
Virgin.
the
How's
fu-
the future
how's
in
the
the
Jim,
South?
how do you
future?
sleep at night knowing
Well,
all
you're,
the
you're
trees?
what? You're
your
3 hours
magazine's
ahead of
got
us, so
down?
you're the future.
All the trees.
Yeah,
What
all
is
the
it?
trees
Hey,
you killed.
It's
What?
90
It's
Elliot,
interesting. It's a renewable
yeah,
resource.
Elliot, with
area.
your knowledge of the future, tell us who the next pope is.
It's a renewable
So,
resource.
what do you think about
It's going to be an African pope.
what
It'll
do
be
you
from
think
Africa.
about closing
That's what they're
down?
saying.
You know, Alcatraz is basically a museum now. So
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
There-
okay. I'll indulge you on this nonsense, Mazzy.
I'm
and
not going to
here's the fact.
mention.
Hold
the
on,
guy.
hold on. I'll state the facts of this. If they want to reopen Alcatraz as an operating prison, the amount of upgrades that need to be done
Impossible.
would be. Hold on, the amount of money it would cost
Billions.
to
Yeah, it's
upgrade.
impossible.
Let me finish talking, and then you can comment. The amount of money it will cost to upgrade this place to be a functional prison. Secondly, the amount of money it would cost to send people who work there and supplies and everything, may you be better off just taking a patch of federal land somewhere else
Yeah.
and building a prison.
Well,
to
he
make
likes.
it more
Rob,
cost-effective.
First of all,
We're
it
giving
is
this
a
way too
national.
much air.
It's a national park it was taken over by the Native American, for a number of years before it became a national park. And as a national park, it actually makes money. And obviously, closing down museums in the world to close down this as a museum to make it into a profitable prison is really ridiculous.
Why can't they just?
Unfortunately, it's not politics. It's Nick. It's like
Why? Okay, so
It's
here's the
just a
thing.
distraction.
Escape from
to
Alcatraz
talk
was
about
on
it,
TV the
It's
other
simply
night.
a distraction.
Hold on. I'm just saying this. Common sense sometimes is your best weapon against stupidity.
No, this was not. This was just somebody saw Escape from Alcatraz the other night on TV. There's no filter between the brain and the mouth. The words are gone.
No, it was actually recommended to him by Don Jr. was the whole thing behind
Somebody
it.
saw it on. It was Escape from
Actually,
Alcatraz.
why can't we just drop all of them on Alcatraz?
What I'm thinking is this, and this is maybe brilliant. Aren't there a lot of empty high-rise office buildings in San Francisco because all the .coms are not?
in a lot of
There's empty
cities.
office. What about the amount in
Convert-
Miami?
Convert those to prisons for the.
Well,
Yeah,
I bet
yeah.
in Miami,
Give
right?
people,
Florida.
put people in the lap of luxury. Hold on. Let me just end
Well,
one thing.
Well,
I'm just saying.
At the
let
height
me make
of
a comment about prison.
at the height of Alcatraz, how many prisoners did it hold? Not that many,
10.
right?
20.
Not that many.
What about my idea for arming the kids at school? No, never mind.
No. Why don't we just arm people against you? The peacocks.
Just don't arm the teachers.
I think the
Let
kids
me
should
make
get-
a comment about prisons. The wise thing to do and what we've done traditionally is you reward, if it's a state prison, you reward your state legislators. If it's a federal prison, I don't know if they've done it as much at the federal level, but they do it at the state level and they should do it at the federal level. You reward your representatives and your senators by locating a prison in a area with high unemployment and cheap labor,
Elliot,
high unemployment.
stop.
And
I'm going to
when
mute
you
you, Elliot. Elliot, I'm going to mute you because what you're saying right now has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Sure, it
It
does.
really does not.
It absolutely has everything to do with what we're talking about.
No, it doesn't. We're talking about Alcatraz. If you have anything to add about
But
Alcatraz,
it's about prisons.
hold on.
I'm
No,
saying
no.
instead
Hold on. I'm
of
the
located
person-
in
I said-
Alcatraz.
Hold on.
That's all I'm saying. Locate.
I'm the person who indulged you to talk about Alcatraz. If Elliot wants to come on here and start making this ridiculous stuff about prisons, Elliot start a live stream and talk about prisons.
It's not.
All
ridiculous.
I'm saying is we were talking about Alcatraz. It wasn't an opportunity to go on some sort of rant about talking about our politics and our politicians. We don't
It
need
relates to Johnny Cash.
Okay, as the only person
Johnny
who's
Cash made 2
none of us
albums
have been to
in prison.
prison. None of us have been to prison.
Listen,
But
Elliot,
been to
I'm not
jail
hold on.
2
I'm not
nights,
singling you
separate,
out. All these other
one
morons
afternoon.
go off track with their
Johnny
comments.
Cash, San Quentin, Folsom Prison. Come
Somehow,
on.
somehow, magically this morning, Harry talked about the Beatles, and it turned into a show and tell about stupid 8-tracks.
Oh God.
But
I'm with you.
has
I'm with you, Elliot.
Elliot's been to jail.
I was simply trying to have a conversation on the subject you were talking about. I came here to show records.
The subject was
Not to talk
Alcatraz.
about prisons.
Elliot, in less than a sentence, tell us anything about Alcatraz you want.
Which is a federal prison.
Thank you. Not anymore. It's a museum or a destination to look at.
Let's move forward.
All right, show your
let's move
records.
forward.
Show your records without any kind of political commentary, please. What's up, Elliot? Come on.
Okay. I had no intention to talk any politics.
It was my fault.
Rob, you can be aggravated sometimes. You know that? Had a record show Sunday, not very well attended. It was at a kind of an isolated brew pub. But it still didn't go too bad. Sold about 31 records, some jazz, some rock, some acoustic bluegrass stuff. So it was okay, and it was enjoyable. There were just 10 tables, 7 sellers.
Wow.
And so we had a lot of good fellowship there. But here, there's a kind of a unwritten rule when you're selling at these shows, when other sellers look at your stuff and buy stuff from you. Now, tell me what he didn't do. He had those 4 for $10 records, so I was looking for some stuff that I could resell. So I got a jazz record of Charlie Parker, Coleman Hawkins, Best of the Animals, and 2 Billy Joels. I can resell those. Got them for $250. But he also had a record I kind of wanted, Gene Parsons, Melodies, and he had it marked 15. So I carry him these 5 records, the 4 for $10 and this $15 record. And I said, I'll get these. And guess what he told me?
$25.
$25. Now, what was the unwritten rule he violated there?
Well, there's no rule that you get a deal every time.
He put his hand on your hand lovingly.
That plus he didn't give me any discount on this. This is really not a $15 record. This is more like a $6 to $10 record. So I thought he would sell it to me for $10.
Is that on Sierra Records?
But I didn't ask for anything, but I expect. But so I gave him $25 for these 5 records. But I got him back because he later in the show he came over to my table and looked at my records and ended up buying $30 worth of records. And I said, just give me 24. I gave him $2 off on each record. And
now,
he said, oh, really? I said, sure.
The ones that were
seller, I'll give you.
How did you get? Math doesn't seem to work into the story. How did you get him back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hold on.
You killed him with kindness.
Did you rub? Hold on. Did you rub the Ebola virus?
$10. That would have got him
Did you
back.
rub the Ebola virus over each record?
He educated him. Educated him
because you. That's exactly
you lead
right.
by
Thank
example, right?
And that's right. And I got this first.
Elliot, I don't mean to interrupt you, which I mean to interrupt you. I'm starting a GoFundMe. I'm starting a GoFundMe called to get Elliot Cruz business cards. That it's like a record dealer, but at the bottom it says "Kill them with kindness."
That's a good idea,
Elliot. That's a good album. But that sticker on the front's much too small.
Then on the back of the business card is going to be Elliot's whole dissertation on federal prisons.
That's a good record.
Yeah, this is the first pressing, and he graded it VG minus. He had it marked $10.
Teeny bopper.
I ended up. He gave me. He took 5 for it, and the deal was he said, cleaning it up, you might get it better than VG minus. So I'm going to clean it up. And if it's not much improved, it's $5. If I get it up to a high end VG or better, I'll give them at the next show. I'll give them $5 more.
You need to put more coal in your
But
internet.
I'm always looking for
you need
those
to
records.
Put another shovel of coal in your internet.
Now, Mazzy, good attempt at that joke, but your landing suffered because everything in Elliot's house is powered on moonshine.
Elliot, does that have Sunday Mill Valley Groove Day on it? The other album. Oh, that's not. I didn't care for that Judy Collins album.
This one.
Yeah, does it?
I don't think it's on that album.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No, it's not on that one. But I got these two for $3 a piece. I think Taj Mahal and Judy Collins. This is a second pressing. I think this came out in '61. Judy Collins, and I was looking for that the more folk and less pop folk from Judy Collins. I think it originally came out in '61, but this is a '66 repress, and vinyl looks really good on it. And a jazz record.
All album.
Probably haven't heard of this guy. This is Scott Sawyer. He is a Durham jazz artist, jazz electric guitarist, and I knew his name from some blues records. He played in the studio in Chapel Hill for a record label that did a lot of blues stuff, and he played on a session musician on a lot of those.
He's a lefty.
He's married to. I don't think so. Maybe he's married to. Is it Eve or Eva Cornelius, the blues and jazz singer?
You're asking us. We don't know.
I've never heard of either of them.
Some of you may know her. And then I got this. I always like quirky stuff. This is Down Home in Randolph County in central North Carolina. It's where Richard Petty's from. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm looking forward to that. Just different people, amateur musicians on there.
Elliot, I'm curious. Elliot, I'm curious about that record. Did you try out? They put on your hog calling, which they didn't really consider music.
That would be further east. This was Randolph is further west in central North Carolina.
Wax.
Hog calling is Spivey's Corner. Sampson County, which is to
Wax. Andy of Mayberry seemed like the country, sheriff.
Here comes Jim's pig.
Andy from Mayberry always got the city slicker. He figured it out.
Hey, Elliot, I have a request.
Always wait 2 or 3 years.
Can you lock Mazzy up in the jail like Otis?
You give him the key so he can get out in the morning.
I love Grissman.
This is
that's a good record.
Grissman doesn't put a lot of stuff on vinyl, but this was Record Store Day from I think 2023, and I think on Record Store Day I think it was $40. I'm not sure, but it's 2 record set, Garcia and Grissman, and it went up to $60 right after Record Store Day for several months. And then it came back naturally a year or 2 later, it comes back down. And I got it for $40. I got it for what it would have been at Record Store Day, I believe.
Have you gotten those? Have you gotten those 3 Grissman Garcia double albums?
I've gotten the first one. I haven't bought these.
I don't have them yet.
I know this 2. Volume 1, I actually did a review of Volume 1 on my channel.
Yeah, I want to get those records.
This is called So What, and it is guitar and mandolin versions of a bunch of Miles Davis songs. Some of them, a few written by David Grissman, a couple of Milt Jackson songs. I spun there for a while.
When did that come out, Elliot? Elliot, what year did that come out?
2023. There are recordings from 1991, 92, 93 in that area, because Garcia used to come over to Grissman's house to kind of just play music and kind of get away from the hustle and bustle, because Grissman was living somewhere there in the San Francisco area. Him and his wife. He had a studio in his basement.
Northern,
and they said,
north of the city.
Marin, okay. And they said Garcia liked to come there and kind of just hang out, and they would play together in his basement or in his studio.
Jerry Garcia lived in Marin too.
In his studio.
What year did Garcia
and it was just
die?
kind of a
95.
kind of a laid back, quiet time.
I think, did he die in 95?
Otherwise, hustle and bustle world he was living in.
Around 95.
I have no control over
It sounds right. Yeah.
Pizza tapes. That's what I said. Audio.
Yeah, Pizza Tapes is good.
And
so this
yeah,
was serious.
I want to see Pizza Tapes haven't been made into a vinyl record yet. I got these records from somebody, and I made an offer on them, and he said, well, since I enjoy your channel, so somebody likes my channel on YouTube, one person at least. He said, since I enjoy your channel on YouTube, I'll let you have them for that price.
Everybody loves
I'm
somebody
curious.
sometime.
Couple of Whalens.
I'm curious that this person who said they enjoyed your channel, did they have the ability to speak, or was this written out by an interpreter? How do they communicate?
It was written.
Were they
out,
trolling
yes.
when they told you this?
Elliot, why did you come up here and take
it was
this
actually
abuse?
Hey,
Take this
Rob,
abuse from Rob every day.
It was actually somebody from the someone from the San Francisco area. So I don't know what your literacy rate is in San Francisco area.
Well, hey, let me explain. Just like Elliot, let me ask you a question. What do you think about people from South Carolina?
Oh, I like both of those.
Two
great albums.
Yeah.
Hey,
both
hold on,
great.
Elliot, answer my question.
Wait,
What do you think?
I'll answer your question.
Okay.
But I heard you. I'll answer. But most of these are Japanese pressings, by the way. These are all both Japanese.
Guy Clark are
pressings.
great records.
Nice.
All but one or two of them are Japanese pressings.
What did you pay for those?
What do I think of people from South Carolina?
Yeah.
I gave $125 for those 6.
For 20 bucks a piece, about.
I think if you added up what he was asking plus shipping,
the Guy Clark record,
it would have been about $155.
Guy Clark can go from 40 to 50 bucks.
I sold Old Number One, which I just showed you another copy of 2 weeks ago at a record show for $45.
Yeah.
I had it marked 50, and I let them have it for 45.
Yeah.
The Texas Cooking goes for about $40 too.
Yeah.
A little less
George
than Old
Gordon
Number One.
sent me.
Okay, how do I feel about people?
Guy Clark once.
I think Carrie's
That's worth something.
Personally, I think
Rob,
Carrie's
you wanted to know what I thought of people from South Carolina?
Yeah.
No.
What do I think of people from South Carolina?
Well, I asked you 20
I like
minutes
people
ago.
from
Yes.
South Carolina, but I like people from South Carolina usually, but they do tend to be a little uppity.
Okay.
What the hell does that mean?
The comparison I was trying to make 20 minutes ago when I asked you.
They only
when
drink
I asked you,
sweet tea.
When I 20 minutes, I have to mute Harry because he's on his own stream right now. The 20 minutes ago when I asked you, I was trying to make the comparison where you think somehow magically I connect with people from San Francisco. There's a huge rivalry between Northern California and Southern California. Right, Jim?
Yeah,
Right.
we hate each other.
It's not the friendliest thing.
All you want is our Northern California's water, and you pay, and you got the fucky Dodgers, and you pay millions and millions whether you get a win or not for your team.
And
but you know, Rob, the way
at least in San Francisco, you do it through drugs.
Hey, Elliot. Elliot,
but the way
at least up there you got this.
At least San Francisco's a city.
Geez, people, mute.
Speak.
Hold on. The connection I was trying to make is I believe Southern California is like North Carolina, and South Carolina is like the uppity people from Northern California. Okay.
Well,
And we have
North-
one
North-
on display right here. This guy who's uppity, fancy pants.
let,
man.
me, let me say this, Rob. We have a expression here in North Carolina that goes.
Yeah.
Very
That
good.
goes, that goes North Carolina, a veil,
Easy for you
a
to
veil
say.
of humility between two mountains of conceit, a veil of humility between
Oh,
two
that's
mountains of conceit, meaning Virginia and South Carolina, because
Well,
we were the
hey,
poor
as
neighbors.
someone-
we were the
As
working
someone
class.
who's from Virginia, I now hate your guts, Elliot. Thank you.
Hey, Virginia's for lovers.
Yes, thank you.
Not
Thank
It
you.
is.
You know,
Hey,
Rob, you and Chance are influencers because Michael P. Dawson just
Yeah.
bought some records at B&N because of you guys.
Well, I didn't. Hold on. I made fun of it. Chance championed it, but there you go. Those Grateful Dead records, if they are the Chris Bellman cuts, those are great
I think
sounding.
they
records.
are. They are. They're just colored variations of them.
Yeah, they're great.
Hey,
sounding
Jim, I have a question for Jim.
Yes, sir.
What if I can get Rachel to host it? Would you and I like to join in on a pig calling contest?
Big calling.
Yeah.
I have a problem because when I do the pig instills fear in me. I got bit. He bit me. She bit me. So the stink of fear is on me now. It is just talking about it. Ugh. She fucking bit me, man. My pig had a shit fit. She started making all kinds of weird noise 2 days ago.
Hey, an
I went
owner
running
like
out
that,
there.
you don't eat all at once.
I went running out there, and my neighbors thought that she was eating me.
Whoa.
They will. They will.
Yeah.
There was a pig farmer in Canada that killed his
Hey,
victims.
man, I
and
used
fed
to
them
watch
to the
Deadwood. I
pigs.
love
So
Deadwood.
you've been watching the
Woo.
Hannibal movies.
Remember
too
Woo
much.
from Deadwood? Remember Woo from Deadwood?
Have
Yeah.
you noticed that those Canadian people are sneaky evil? Have you noticed that the Canadian people are sneaky evil?
They
Oh,
seem to
yeah.
be smarter than the
You know,
Americans.
killing
lately.
people and throwing them.
I
to the
blame
pigs
I
and
blame
stuff.
Canada. Always have. Blame Canada.
Yeah.
No, but
That's
Rob,
good.
what I
like
always
that
interpret
slogan.
your
Blame Canada.
So you
Exactly.
want to tell the pig
Rob,
joke?
Hey,
Yeah,
can
go ahead,
everyone
Barry.
just shut up and let
You
Elliot
tell
speak?
it.
I don't think I would ever say that ever. Go, Elliot. Say what you
what I
want.
always interpret when you do the moonshine jokes and the rural farm animal jokes and things like that,
Yeah.
and whether someone could speak or stuff like that, Rob, I always interpret that as implying or insinuating or just out saying that people where I live
Hillbillies.
are backwards or ignorant or uneducated. And I know you're doing it in fun because
Is
it's a
he-
stereo.
Is he?
But
Okay.
that's how I take your comments.
All right. Wait, to be
you
fair
know,
to you, Elliot, to be fair, I make fun of everyone equally. Jim,
I know, and
Barry,
that's why
and
I'm not.
Mazzy.
That's why you. That's why you don't
be all
upset me.
self-centered about
So-
this.
That means he likes
Look,
you.
Elliot.
He's picking on you.
Everyone has their their biases. I used to, up until the vinyl community, up until what's his name in England? Rob what's his name in
Rob
Manchester?
Rob Walker?
Up until Rob
Rob
Walker,
Walker.
I used to think that people from England were smarter than people from the United States because of the sound of their voice, because of their accent. I just thought they were smarter until Rob Walker. Now, I also have a bias where if I hear someone from the South, I think they're stupid. Well, they're not.
There's Angelo.
They can use
Hold
that
on.
to their advantage against me.
Can everyone do me a favor and stop talking? I have to bring something up that I did. I was calling for you, Angelo Kelly.
I said, say his name 3 times.
Yeah, Angelo Kelly, please listen because I have something I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I fell victim, or you might call it victim, to when I stream through social media or whatever you do with it. That I came across this, I guess he's a musician, Art Garfunkel's son, Art Garfunkel Jr. And he's made a career of singing his dad's songs, or Simon and Garfunkel songs. What I didn't understand until the other day is that he has some sort of presence in Germany where he sings German versions of these songs. And I saw him on German variety shows where he's singing German versions of Simon and Garfunkel songs. My question to you, Angelo Kelly, is he your rival? Because I want this to be true. I want you to have some sort of just anger towards this guy.
I think
Angelo's rival would be
Art Senior introduced his son on a live album many years ago when he was a kid who sang with him. His son sang with him on a live album.
From what I've read, the kid somehow made it to Germany, lived in Germany since he was a teen. I don't know that Art Garfunkel lives in Germany. I would assume the mother maybe lived there and brought the kid there, and he learned German and started singing his heart out in German. Angelo Kelly, tell me, and I'll back you up here on the bash Art Garfunkel Jr. train.
Why would you bash him?
I love rivalries. I love hating one side.
I know, we know that,
and
Rob.
supporting another.
So, Elliot, obviously your accent, maybe you don't see it, but we see it as an accent, is from sort of more the rural outer areas, because obviously my friend, John, Digital Gramophones, North Carolina, he's in what, Charlotte? Where is he? Charlotte. He doesn't seem to have much of an accent. So is it because it's more cosmopolitan?
It's I think it's more generational.
Well, hold on,
Elliot.
I grew up in the DC
different
area.
Generations retain more.
I grew up in Northern Virginia area, DC, and those people there speak like I speak. But if you go just a little bit south to Fredericksburg, which is not that far outside of DC, people speak like Elliot speaks. Or if you go down to Richmond, depending where you are in that city, people speak like Elliot or people speak like me. So I don't know what it is.
Oh, I love Elliot's accent too.
Rob, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I really believe Carolina. I believe it's generational. Part of it's generational.
What do North Carolina?
Part of it's generational. Part of it is
wheat and oats all have in common.
I don't know. No one gives a shit. Elliot, finish what you were saying.
Part of accent is generational. Part of it is rural or suburban or urban. Part of it is just
okay. I don't really
heritage,
care that much.
Ancestry. It's not that big deal.
Because the urban, suburban, you'd be mixed up with.
It just varies. Now,
Elliot's on a delay. That's it.
No, you're on a delay, Elliot. Part of it, when you're urban and suburban, you're on a delay, Elliot. When it's urban and suburban, you're mixed with people. You're mixed with people from other areas, so you kind of lose that accent a little bit. Is that true? Probably.
Yeah, the younger generations will. Yeah, the older generations will.
You get people
hold on to it.
People like California moving to North Carolina.
I'm done. I'm not telling any more jokes here. I'm not appreciated.
Well, Harry, what are your thoughts on federal prisons,
You mentioned John, Digital Gramophone. Actually, I was in we are all delayed, it seems like. John at Digital Gramophone, his father and uncle, John's father and uncle grew up in my hometown, the same town I did. They were just a couple of years ahead of me in school. So,
Rob,
we even have a connection there.
Rob,
I imagine if you talk to.
Hey, Elliot, can you refresh your browser?
Welcome back, Patrick. How was your trip? Why don't you come up here and tell us
Let me
about
try.
New Zealand.
Is
I
it just
prefer
me,
Old
or is
Zealand
it
myself.
everybody that's kind of?
It's
I
just
think
you,
it's
Elliot,
Elliot.
you.
I think you, Elliot. I think you need to restart your router. That's what I think.
You're a little bit off, Elliot. A little bit off, Elliot. A little bit off. Oh.
Now, can I finish what I was saying, Rob?
All right, everyone. We have a bright young comedian from Puyallup who's going to
Jeez.
do his 5-minute routine. Go, Harry.
Okay, what do North Carolina, oats, and wheat all have in common?
I don't know.
They're all inbred.
Boats?
Oh,
Hey.
never mind.
Hey,
Oh, oats. Oats.
fucking-
I thought you said.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's only one person who can forgive Harry. Well, actually, two. People with sense of humor can forgive him for being unfunny, and then Elliot can forgive him for his attack on Southern people.
Elliot. I mean, Harry. So Harry and I were driving down the road one day.
Okay, is this the joke where someone's fucking a goat through a fence?
No, we saw.
Yeah, but it
some
wasn't
guy-
me.
We
It
saw
wasn't me.
we saw someone fucking the sheep, you know, and Harry is like, "This is terrible. We got to call cops." So we pull over. We knock. Hey, we need to. Some guys. We need to use your phone. Got to call the cops. Someone's fucking a sheep down the road, and the guy goes, "Oh, that's my dad. That's my dad." No.
You my
no.
daddy?
Nothing. Or
Hey,
okay,
Elliot. I think Jim succeeded in one front. He's making you look like a genius. Now go talk, Elliot.
I'm still not any better. I don't think. I think I'm still.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Wow,
what's
is
the
it
other?
9 o'clock yet?
Okay, so there's this goat with its head stuck in the fence.
Oh,
That's my
listen.
dad.
You don't have to. Why don't you go get a whiteboard and a marker and then diagram this joke for us?
I just need to say the punchlines.
No.
I
Vanilla
can
ice
assure
cream.
you. I can.
Or how
assure
about this
everyone-
one? How about this one? Oh my God, I left the baby on the bus.
Hold on.
No?
I can assure you,
No?
it's not
No, I
the
want to
internet.
hear this one. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I can assure all of you, it's not the internet. Jim's jokes are just as unfunny in person.
Oh yeah, no, there's no. Oh my God, yeah, that's a good one.
But we appreciate
Well,
the effort, don't we?
I haven't heard that one.
It's a Polak joke. I can't tell it.
Actually,
I can't tell Polak jokes anymore.
Mazzy, I'm going to plead, and I think everyone who's watching is behind me. I think you should bow out tomorrow, and I just think it should be Jim and Harry with a
Harry
joke.
now that
That
would be a battle.
We should promote it one more time. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific on Harry's channel. There's a trivia quiz of Harry and I, mostly Beatles, I assume, 60s Beatles,
I'm hoping.
hosted by Rachel's Ghost on Harry's
Harry-
channel. So go find Harry's channel.
9
It
a.m.
might take you a while
tomorrow.
to find it, but find it.
Harry, have you shared the link yet?
Because there's just what?
Oh, I'll do it again.
Because there's just not enough Beatles content in the vinyl community.
It wasn't
Yeah,
my
well,
idea.
we're gonna-
Elliot.
Next
I
up,
agree.
Elliot, I'd like to do a trivia contest with you on Molly Tuttle.
Never heard of her.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll do that.
She's from the Bay Area. Yeah.
She's
9
a Bay Area
a.m.
musician. She's
What is your channel?
pretty
Harp,
big.
Harry?
Harry's music.
That just shows you how big the world of music is. That some
Everyone
people
go
are very
subscribe right
big
now. Harry's
in
music.
their own sphere.
God, you not subscribe to me? What the fuck?
Yeah,
I
Bill
am.
K. Bill, hold on. I think if Bill K came up on the stream, he would give Elliot he would be a rival for Elliot. Because Elliot, all the jokes I make about you, we could probably easily make about Bill K. Because he lives
Okay,
like in
here's
a
a
rural
link.
area of California.
Well, you know, if you're not talking about somebody, then you're not appreciated. You know, when people are giving you a hard time, you're appreciated.
That's right.
or you're tolerated at least.
That's right. They're not.
I
If they're
mean,
not giving you a hard time, they don't give a shit.
Right. Listen, I went to breakfast with Jim the other day around where he lives. If I took pictures, you would think I was in the middle of North Carolina. Seriously,
Oh, yeah.
I'm joking. Everyone in there looked like we were in Trump country. And it's like right here in LA. So listen, we have backwoods people everywhere in America. Right, Elliot?
My neighborhood.
That's right. The biggest redneck I ever met in my life was from upstate New York.
Right.
Biggest redneck. He
What
tried
part
to
of
hook
New
me
York?
up with
And
illegal cable.
now he's
within
president
5
of the United
minutes.
States now.
What city, Elliot? What city was he from?
He was from upstate New York. I don't remember what.
That's where Harry's
He
from.
had moved
I'm from
down.
upstate
He
New
had
York.
moved down
Harry,
here to
are you a
North Carolina.
redneck, Harry? Can you admit it here for everyone
I'm
to
from
hear?
He was a
Binghamton,
big
New York.
redneck, Harry. Do you know any? was that
Redneck,
Tom?
White Sox, and Blue Ribbon beer,
Friends of
baby.
sound.
But
They're rednecks. They're rednecks everywhere.
that's right.
Let
That's
me ask
absolutely
you. I'm being
right. He
serious.
did save my life one time.
Elliot, how many people that live in your general area have horses living on their property?
Have horses. When you, my best friend has horses.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm trying to
he's
get
got,
to, Elliot, I'm not asking you. I'm not forcing you to give me a positive answer, but you would say not many, right? Would that be a fair response?
There's a few people with horses if you drive out from town.
Yeah,
But not a lot. No.
So not many. Okay, in Jim's neighborhood, it's most of the people have horses living on their property.
It's not just the horses. It's the
Right.
half the people in my neighborhood have permanent American flag poles. It's like living next to a library or something. They got cemented in.
Can you do me a favor and not put Steve Park's comment up on screen?
And they don't know flag etiquette.
Okay,
They don't.
I'm doing it right
know
now.
Flag etiquette.
Okay, thank you.
All I'm saying,
There you
Elliot,
go,
is
Steve.
you probably live in a more cosmopolitan area than Jim does.
Yeah, my neighbors all have
That's
American
interesting.
flags and "Don't tread on me" flags.
No, they have. Okay, everyone has flags. I have an American flag hanging in my apartment, so that's not the factor.
I took mine down. after this,
When you drive down the streets, okay, hold on, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Is it or is it not just an okay thing in your neighborhood to let the horse shit on the road?
No. You pay $100 a year, and the horse can shit on the road. It's a thing.
Right. Elliot, how much horse shit is on the roads around where you
There's
live?
a lot of horse
That's a
shit
good
on my
deal.
road. Huh? Do you have a lot of horse shit there, Elliot?
Well, most towns, most towns don't allow you to have horses in town. So, Jim, you're either in an unincorporated area or you're in a city or town that's
I'm in the
not
city.
the norm.
I'm in the city of Los Angeles, but I live in an area, an equestrian district, where people are allowed to have a certain amount of horses depending on how much
Is it an
land.
unincorporated area?
It's the city of Los Angeles. It's LAPD. It's LA Fire Department. It's the city. I live in the fucking. It's horrible. I live right behind the pools of old poison gas, and where they
how
store
many
the
square
alcohol.
miles is Los Angeles?
It's
Hey, this isn't the answer I'm looking for.
How many square miles is Los Angeles metro area?
Angelo, I need to know your mortal enemy is Art Garfunkel Jr.
Yeah.
I need to know.
The county, which is the city, is most of the county. The county, I believe, is the largest physical county in the country.
I can't get a word in edgewise, so I'm saying Angelo is Art Garfunkel. I can't spell Garfunkel. Garfunkel.
Don't fuck up the Funkel.
You're more.
Angelo, have you ever been in a
He's already
fist fight
answered
with
your
Art
question, Rob.
Garfunkel's son?
I
If
misspelled.
it makes you
What is that?
happy.
Do you have any leprechaun jokes, Harry?
Huh?
Harry, do you have any leprechaun jokes?
No, they're after me Lucky Charms. That's all I know.
I have two.
Whose phone's ringing?
Mazzy.
It's Elliot's. That
Not me.
that-
It's not me.
that symbolizes that Elliot is cosmopolitan. Having your phone interrupt a live stream, unless he's on the phone with people to get the still working correctly.
Ciao, Carlo.
Friends of
What does that mean,
Sound.
George, what does that mean? All I'm saying is LA County's gigantic, and we have rednecks. That's my point. I think Elliot's on the phone right now trying to clarify that with his redneck bosses. And Harry's from redneck part of New York. That's why he left when he was 17. Enjoying.
2 weeks after I graduated from high school, I was gone.
He was a seaman, right, Harry?
No, airman.
Oh. you know, hold on. Angelo, you know what he's doing right now? He's getting to the bottom of the rivalry between you and Art Garfunkel Jr., which you won't give me a clear answer for. Can a boy dream about a rivalry between two German celebrities? Can a boy dream?
The biggest celebrity of all is David Hasselhoff, and Germany's in mourning right now because his first wife died.
Actually, not to be political, but they had a problem in Germany electing their new prime minister. Right, the guy didn't get enough votes. That's what
they just announced 2-1 of today.
Was it the conservative or the liberal?
I don't even know. The thing popped up. I didn't read it yet.
Listen, I'll join anything to get to the bottom of your rivalry with Art Garfunkel Jr. Because honestly, I believe between the both of you, Harry, I believe between Angelo Kelly and Art Garfunkel Jr., Art Garfunkel Jr. is more likely to pee his bed at night. That's what I believe.
Art Garfunkel Jr. would do a house concert for me if I asked him to. I've offered Angelo $100 to do a house concert. It stands. That offer stands.
Wait. Here's what's funny to me, okay? I'm assuming Art Garfunkel Jr. is Jewish, and we all know Angelo Kelly is not. It seems to me, who should be the redhead out of those two? But somehow it's Art Garfunkel Jr.
Makes me wonder.
And it makes me wonder.
So do you know what the last thing Hendrix recorded was before he died?
No.
I don't remember. I used to
That
remember.
piece on Stephen Still's first solo album.
Oh, right. That's a good track.
A great track.
You know, all three of those guys,
Sure.
forget Nut Young, put him aside, all their first albums absolutely are their best. The first Graham Nash, the first David Crosby, and the first Stephen Stills, all great records.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
What a beautiful day out. Look at the sun shining.
Where's that?
That's my my driveway.
Yep.
When do the zombies come down the boulevard?
It's going to be 76 today or so.
It's going to be beautiful out there.
It's going to be 100 next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be like upper 90s. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I ain't ready for it.
It's getting ready to get hot. I did a video on a review on the Rycooter album, the Record Store Day Rycooter album. Did it outside on the porch, and that was so nice to sit out there and do that review. The birds were chirping, and it was pleasant. The breeze was going through the air there and everything. And that actual review, that video I did, has gotten about twice or three times as many views as most of my videos at this point. It's only a week old, so I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it's the fact that Rise Record Store Day record might be some interest in it, or maybe there aren't that many reviews of the album out there on YouTube. I'm not sure, but
I didn't do a dedicated.
Over 400.
Did your neighbors complain that you were recording videos outside your house?
Absolutely not. My neighbors
I do
are so
now
nice.
every Friday through the summer. I'm doing a lakeside chat, and I have every Friday I'm doing one. So I got my fourth one.
Which lake?
Lake Washington for now. I might do Green Lake also.
Hey, maybe I'm some sort of rube, but Harry, can you explain to me how Mazzy talks to a lake?
It's just nice being out there. It's funny. I recorded one, and the sun was too harsh, and there was too many people around. So I had to go. Literally, I recorded 2 last week back to back because I want to stock them up because I went down there at 8 a.m. It was great. A few people, runners and joggers in the morning, and people just kind of walking around the lake, and it was really beautiful. It's just really nice.
Go down there around 10 o'clock at night. You can video all the shootings.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, but
let me address that. I don't have the Alamo Bay, but I'm on the lookout for it. It's one of the Rycooters I don't have, but I'm on the lookout for it. I didn't have Chicken Shack. I couldn't believe I didn't have it. I got it ordered. It's coming in a few days. Along with a bunch of
most of the Rycooter soundtracks are fairly inexpensive. Johnny Handsome is another one.
I'm curious, Mazzy, with all these.
I don't have that one either.
With all these lakeside chats, are you fearful someone might grab you and try to baptize you in the lake?
Going down to the river to pray, dun, 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 my judgment day. No, it's just really beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's a good song about John the Baptist.
And somebody asked about that 10-inch.
My fave.
That's a great record
right now.
And I do not have. I've got 2 Carolina Chocolate Drops records, vinyl records, but and the others on CD. But I don't have that 10-inch. I guess that was the Music Matters Foundation record that they did first.
So, Rob, can I circle back to the beginning? What you said you brought up, and you didn't really. You showed it, and no one can read this Mofi thing. What was there in details? The excuse of switching and not using the super vinyl.
Do you want me to read the whole statement?
Yeah, or send it to me. I'd like to forward it to me.
Because it's going to lower the price for the consumer.
No, that's not what they said.
Well, I know, but it should.
Well, I don't know. Does super vinyl cost more? One-step process costs more. Does super vinyl
cost less? They're eliminating one process.
All right.
No. You're mixing it up. Wait, Rob. You're mixing it up. You don't eliminate a process not using super vinyl. You eliminate a process using the one-step process.
One step, so it should cost less.
But it's more temperamental, and it takes longer to create each record. I mean, I know it's kind of bullshit, but it does.
It's not bullshit. They go through twice as many, 10 times as many.
Can I read this statement without being interrupted? Okay.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All right. This statement from Mofi.
Maybe.
I think it's real. It says, why is the UD1S pressed on Mofi Super Vinyl? Why isn't this Bitches Brew pressed on Super Vinyl? Bitches Brew is one of the few Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs Ultra Disc one-step releases since the advent of Mofi Super Vinyl that is pressed on 180-gram black vinyl rather than Mofi Super Vinyl. Why? Quite simply, it sounds better on the black vinyl. After closely auditioning Bitches Brew on several different vinyl profiles, a time-consuming and expensive endeavor no other labels pursue, Mofi's expert engineers determined the music on the 1970 album translates with superior definition, clarity, presence, dynamics, and balance on this format.
I call bullshit.
The opening of Mofi's sister plant, Fidelity Record Pressing, and its peerless ability to press dead quiet 180-gram black vinyl means the label's engineers now have more options when it comes to high-quality vinyl. all of which benefits the original artist and their intent. And you have the list in the listener. Well, it sounds like Michael Fremer wrote this. There you go.
So they ran out of super vinyl, had to press it on black vinyl, and they came up with a good reason.
To be honest with you, I believe if they're going to go to the trouble to test that out, all the power to them. If I know people like to disbelieve everything, especially Mofi and everything else, or Chad when he says, these companies, whether it's Chad or Mofi or Ryan, they do test out these things and to see what sounds best. Now they don't always succeed, but.
Okay, here's where I think this is the optics of it for me. Forget about the specifics. Did Mobile Fidelity learn anything going through MoFi Gate? No. Based on this statement, they learned nothing.
No, they put a statement out. That's a good learning.
Mazzy, let me finish. Do they benefit from the short-term memory of most people? Probably. But this statement just sounds like BS. It sounds like BS. Here's the reason it sounds like BS, Mobile Fidelity, because you have a product that one of the attractiveness of buying that product is it's pressed on your super vinyl. That's why it is. All you're telling people is go buy the one we put out, the regular version. That's what you're telling us, right?
I've had super vinyl that is noisy. It's not really bad, but it is noisy.
But again, they still make that. That is the
Rob. However,
defining factor.
The super vinyl MoFi usually uses is so much better than the clarity vinyl that the Chad uses on the AP stuff.
Yeah, but
that stuff's noisier.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but what you're doing sounds like some sort of need to explain for them.
No, but okay, you're complaining that Wait a second. You're complaining that MoFi should have learned something before. The thing they learned is last time they didn't put out press releases or never said anything. This time they're coming up front and saying, here's the deal. Here's the reason we're doing it.
I already had two people, Jazz Bum Chris and Concert Buddy, back up my take on it by saying it sounds like bullshit. That's my whole point. You can post an explanation.
What if they didn't say anything and just put it out and didn't say anything?
Well, it would have been better than that bullshit explanation.
Well, I mean,
because honestly, Mazzy, let me ask you a question. Because I showed a record that was pressed at RTI on regular vinyl that sounds excellent. That's Strata East, Music Inc., Live at Slugs. Sounds excellent. There was no explanation needed. Sounds great on cheap vinyl.
Yeah, but MoFi, obviously, they're in a position they have to explain probably more. They should explain more. They should come out and talk to us about this stuff. Now, the question will be future. Will they do future editions and scrap this super vinyl on future records?
If I held a gun to your head, which is more appealing to me with each day passing, and I said, give me the definitive thing about buying a one-step, what would it be? It's pressed on the super vinyl.
I don't think there is any definitive thing.
Wait a minute.
Now you're making it about your opinion. Factually.
Well, of course it's my opinion. I don't think I don't think one steps or UHQR's best regular pressing. Look at Chad has done those double 45s at $60 a piece.
But Mazzy, you're making about your opinion. It's not about your opinion. It's not about your opinion, which is better.
Of course I can only give my opinion.
No. Hold on. Let me finish. It's not about your opinion on the product. It's about the definitive thing about the product that they use to sell it.
From my take, Rob and Mazzy are approaching this from different.
There's a flawed question.
100%. My approach is a sales.
Best is subjective. Best is subjective. So it's a flawed
Mazzy, you're making it about being subjective. I am not.
Rob is only looking at it.
But the answer to the best is subjective.
Okay, Mazzy, let's be abstract by it. Why would you buy a Hebrew National hot dog without
because it tastes better?
No,
because it tastes better.
That's your opinion. Hold on, that's your opinion.
That's exactly.
The only reason I buy it.
Hold on, let me. They sell it as something with no bride product and no filler.
Okay,
That's
let
how they
me
sell
let me,
it,
Yeah, but
dude.
I
let
would,
me finish my comment.
I like the taste of a Bruce Adele sausage more than a Hebrew National. So there you go.
May
You're
I
making
may
it about
I
your take on it.
Right.
Rob is coming
Bright
at
leaf
this
hot dogs are the best. I'm sorry.
Rob's
Bright
coming at
leaf.
this from the point of view
They
of
serve
Kirkland
hot
hot
dogs in
dogs.
Central Prison.
Rob is coming at it from the
Costco.
point of view of features, and Mazzy's coming at it from the point of view of what does it sound like. That's the
Right.
difference.
Right.
No. Hold on.
Yeah,
again.
it is.
But,
Yeah, it
but
is.
that's not it. Okay, Jim, listen to me. That's not how I presented this whole thing.
Yeah, you did. You said it's this feature. I buy it because of the plastic.
No. That's not what I said. Okay. It was presented
agree,
by
Mike.
it was presented by a statement that Mobile Fidelity put out that sounds like bullshit, where they're backtracking by a definitive sales element of the one step. It's pressed on the Clarity vinyl. That is one of the aspects why people buy it. The one step process.
Okay, I
and
have
it's
an
pressed
answer
on
for
this
you.
vinyl.
Okay,
Has nothing to do with my opinion on
but
what's
in that press release, it almost says on this particular album,
Right.
the black
Right.
sounded better. Not everyone.
May you
That's
die
right.
in an industrial meat grinder.
Okay, Jazz Bum Mike.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
You do
ketchup
not.
on
No,
and
never
and
ketchup.
pineapple on pizza too.
Yeah,
I
you don't
said
put
it.
ketchup on that. You don't put ketchup
All I'm
on a
saying,
fucking
look,
Dodger dog.
the way they sell that product is it's pressed on this vinyl. Now that they're flipping either way, it seems like bullshit to me. It has nothing to do with the sound quality. You want to know
Angelo's
why?
right. He
You
hit
want
it
to know
right on
why?
the head.
You want to know why I'm right? Because I don't have the one step to listen to. It's not about my opinion on what sounds better.
Well, okay.
It's not about
I-
anyone's
Right.
opinion on what
Right.
sounds better.
Okay.
Right. That's my point.
Exactly.
That's
Here's
all.
the thing. My opinion on the Miles Davis, and I've said this many times, even, okay, just to back me up if you don't trust me, Joe Harley, the jazz guy, it's, again, his opinion's subjective too. His opinion is no better than any of ours, really. He prefers all the Miles Davis Mofi's better than the original Columbia Miles Davis records, except same with me for Bitches Brew. Not Bitches Brew, for one Kind of Blue. They kind of fucked that up. It's too boomy and bottom. That's where Chad succeeded. But all those Mofi are really, really good for the most. Now, some people subjectively like others better than. Like I did the big talking about Vinyl Me Please. I got the big electric.
You lost all
box.
my
Sour
respect.
cream on
Dane.
hot dogs too. That's
I
the
got
Seattle.
You lost all my respect, Dane. Maybe
I
it's a
got the
Canadian.
electric Miles box by Vinyl Me Please, and
The sound. This again. It's a sales thing that they're.
of course, well,
And
putting it in a box is a
I'm not.
sales
My
thing, too.
opinion on what sounds better has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's
Well,
all
but that's-
about.
I
the
only can talk
bullshit.
about the music,
It's
stupid.
Mofi's
The
learned
sound.
nothing. They're coming out with a bunch of bullshit. That is my whole point.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. Yes.
No, it's
Well,
my.
that's like
That-
you know,
It's
just
your
like,
hold on.
point. Your
opinion,
point is
man.
your opinion.
No. Hold on, Mazzy. Let me explain it again for your troubled brain. My opinion is the result of the thing I presented. It has nothing. What I presented for us to discuss had nothing to do with the way it sounds. Had zero.
I know.
Zero.
But it's your opinion on the press release.
That they're full of shit. But
Yeah,
again,
that's
it
your
still has-
opinion on it.
Right, but what I'm the whole conversation is presented as this: they have a product that is promoted being pressed on super vinyl. Now, on this particular version, they're taking away one aspect of why people buy it.
Well,
That's what
okay.
I'm presenting.
But
My opinion
okay.
is it's bullshit.
Let me
that
go
they-
to the other level.
on
They
it.
come out with $60 records, some on super vinyl and some on just black vinyl.
No, they're not. The one on black vinyl are not $60. They're $40.
No, but some of them
They're
are.
60 if they're 45.
Yeah, if they're exactly.
Have they pressed any 45 on super vinyl? No.
I don't know.
They're
I don't know.
Like the ELO, which is on super vinyl, is $60.
And the
It's a
Dylan
30
Desire is on super vinyl.
it's a
I don't think it
33
needed to be on
it's a
super vinyl.
33 it's a 33 RPM.
Right.
record.
And I don't think it needed to be on super vinyl, but you're right. It does increase the cost. And I would rather have everything on black vinyl.
All right.
I don't think
hold
any of
on.
these companies
Here's
need
a
to
question
use
for you, which I don't know the answer. How much is the one step of Bitches Brew? How much does that cost?
it.
125,
129?
130? How much?
Why don't we
How
look?
much? How much is a super
Mofi
vinyl
Bitches
version?
Brew.
Did they decrease the price of it because it's not super vinyl?
Mobile Fidelity.
I got
Bitches
your
Brew.
Hold on.
band.
I have a question. Here's my question for you, Angelo Kelly. Is the conversation we're talking about giving you a headache, or your rivalry with Art Garfunkel Jr.?
It's well, let's see.
All right, Nicole, how does it sound? As I suspected, Art Garfunkel Jr.
Okay, it's $60. No, that's the SACD. Hold on.
Hold on, sponsor buddy. If we can wrangle Nicole into this, I think we have the makings of a class action.
Chance, are you in Austin right now? Or is it over?
The thing ended on Sunday, Harry. Unless he was kidnapped and kept there.
Yeah, I mean, he may be enjoying Austin. I was going to say, if he is, I have a show I'm going to recommend you go to.
He's been there many times. He doesn't need your recommendations. Unless it involves a joke.
It's 9:12 already, Rob.
It's $125.
We have Mazzy to blame for this going in longer time.
It's $125.
Do we have anything else to get off our chest? Yeah, is that cheaper or the same price, Mazzy?
I don't know. I think they went down from 150 when they slimmed the box down. I could be wrong.
Now, also, it is. I will say this: it is 2 discs.
Well, it's always been 2 discs.
Hold on. The particular album.
It's a double album. Yeah.
How many other one steps are single 33?
There are some. I think the Van Halens, aren't they?
Have any of these gone up in value at all?
No, they're still in stock.
No, because they pressed a kabillion of them.
No, not just this, but any of the UHQRs. There's got to be somewhere.
I think the only Abraxas is the only one. Like, did they?
But then they reissued that same pressing.
I think there's only like 3 or 4 that.
Okay, here's a problem now. I'll agree with you, right? I'm looking at the Mofi site now, right?
Yeah.
And it says 33 RPM super vinyl 2 LP box. They haven't fixed that.
We were going to end the stream right now with Rob being correct and right. Okay?
You have no idea how clueless you are, Rob.
Well, I don't know. Does a goat and a fence have anything to do with this?
Can you give Richard James a link, please?
You know, that's not even funny. Every fucking day, man. It's not funny. Okay.
I'm laughing.
Paul, I win. I always win. All I'm saying is, again, everyone will agree, Mofi is stumbling their way through something right now.
Well,
Okay,
we'll see, you know. Again, it'll be.
You just read off the site that it even
they fucked up. Somebody in copy hasn't fixed that. They should fix that.
Well, I can guarantee you, if that website is fucked up, 100% the record's fucked up.
Well, how many times have you ever tried to navigate through Chad Kassem's website, the Acoustic Sounds website?
Yeah, Chad's got a killer website.
It's 1972 technology.
It'll kill you.
Hold on. Listen to records. Here's how we solved it. Ketchup on hot dogs is wrong, and everyone who said it's good will burn in hell.
Yeah, it's wrong. I agree with Rob. Did Nicole say how Bitches Brew sounds? Has she listened to it yet?
She hasn't listened to it yet. Okay. I'm going to end the stream.
Can I quickly address the 8-track tapes before we go?
If it could be short and concise, please.
Yes. Harry, you can sell those 8-track tapes. The vintage car clubs, those guys like to buy them and they'll put out 8 tracks, have an 8-track player in their vintage cars on display, and they'll set those 8 tracks on the seat as part of the display when they're showing their cars. So there's your market for 8 tracks. And 8 tracks came way before cassettes. They overlap.
Those car people
in the 70s, but 8 tracks were big in the 60s and into the 70s. Cassettes started in the 70s and continued on from there.
All right. Thank you for
Vance,
clearing
if
that
that's
up,
something
Elliot.
you want, reach out to me.
Thanks for clearing that up. Everyone go to Harry's web page, YouTube page tomorrow to see him
Harry's
destroy
Music
Mazzy.
Room, YouTube.
And actually, Harry, is the whoever wins, isn't the other person supposed to bow before them and call them supreme leader of the world?
Yeah, absolutely. This is for the world championship.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.